Okay guys, so we are going to start by talking about slope. And like I told you before we left, what we're going into is one of the most important things that you can really learn, because you are going to use it from now until you get to college when you're talking about slope and then graphing in the next video that I'm going to do. So first, let's look at what slope is. So slope is a number that describes the direction and the steepness of a line. So go ahead and write that down. A number that describes the direction and steepness of a line. My iPad's being interesting right now. Okay, so a number that describes the direction and steepness of a line. So we are going to have a line and we are going to be given 2 points on that line. And using those 2 points, we are going to be able to find the slope. So first of all, the slope formula is m equals, and m is the letter that they choose to represent slope. I know it makes no sense because there is no m in slope, but m is the letter, when you see it, it's going to be slope. So your slope formula is rise over run, and we'll talk about more about that in a minute, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember earlier in our midpoint formula, we had our x1, y1 and x2, y2 when we labeled our ordered pairs and our coordinates. Same thing here. When you get 2 ordered pairs with slope, you are going to label them x1, y1, x2, y2 every single time, and then you will just plug it into this formula. So again, like I tell you with formulas all the time, I can't memorize them for you. You have to put the effort in to do this. So make sure you memorize slope is rise over run and y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, so now we're going to look at finding the slope of a line. We see that our line is going up from left to right. So that alone tells you that we are going to have a positive slope because it is going up from left to right. But we still have to find exactly what that slope will be. So we're going to use the rise over run method when we have a graph of a line to find the slope. We're going to start with the point on the left. Okay, on the left, it's going to go up 1. So our rise is 1. And then how many times over do we go until we hit the second point? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means our slope for this line on number 3 is 1/4. So going back, we know that it is a positive slope because it goes left to right, it's going up. And then we use rise over run. We always start with rise, which is up or down. Start with the point on the left. I'm going to write this too for you to start with. Left point. So you're going to go up 1 and get even with the second point, and then run over 4, and that is why your slope is 1/4. So go ahead and try it on number 4, and let's see how you do. Okay, so let's look at number 4. Since this line is going down from left to right, we know that it's going to be a negative slope. All right, remember, so we are starting with the point to the left. So here's our first point. The next point this time is down, right? So we always start with rise because we're looking at rise over run for this. So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3. So since we're going down, that is a negative 3. And then run, we're going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our bottom number is 5. So our slope for number 4 is negative 3 over 5. Now it's time to use the different slope formula. The one where we labeled x1, y1, x2, y2. That is the first thing I want you to do for every single one of these problems where you're finding the slope of the line going through a pair of points. Then I want you to write down the formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. From there, all you have to do is plug in to your formula. So y2 is negative 13 minus y1 is negative 13 over x2 is negative 17 minus x1 is 19. So now we just use integer rules for the top and the bottom. So negative 13, we keep change. Negative 13 plus positive 13 is 0. Again, we're going to keep change. So negative 17, change. Negative 17 plus negative 19 is negative 36. So anytime you have 0 in the numerator, that means your whole answer is 0. So the slope of number 5 is 0. All right, so now we're going to look at number 6. We're going to start the exact same way. x1, y1, x2, y2. So M equals y2 is 16 minus 16 over 3 minus 18. Everybody see we just plugged it in its designated spot according to that slope formula. So now we just use integer rules. 16 minus 16 is 0. And then 3 minus 18 is negative 15. Now again, anytime that you have 0 in the numerator, your answer is going to be 0 for the slope. It's not always going to be 0. It was just what problems came out on this handout. So it doesn't necessarily have to be 0 for your slope. You could still get some sort of fraction like you did on the last page, okay? Now, this is it for finding slope with the slope formulas. So just a quick recap. For graphs, we're going to use rise over run and count up and down, and then left or right. For ordered pairs, we're going to use the slope formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So go ahead, try your assignment, see how you do, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.